How did I get to this point?
CinematicKingEye.
Well, initially I did music. It came a time and point where I needed a videographer, or a cinematographer as they would say. At that time, cinematographers, or people who knew how to shoot, selectively work with who they needed to work with for their brand and their business and their name. And that makes sense, or it made sense. But I've learned shooting as a cinematographer or videographer, shooting as much as you possibly can, build your brand and your name further and bigger, or spread it further than just in one lane. So I decided to start shooting for myself. But I couldn't always shoot myself. I didn't know technically how to shoot. Camera phones had just came into play, and from that point I said I would shoot people who I knew who did music like I did. I started out with a BlackBerry tour. I shot some of my friends. I shot their music videos, and I would just use my phone, but do it in a video format, or like it was a real music video. So I would have them do performance scenes, and it started off mainly as performances, and as time went along I would try to add, different types of B-roll and
Get like at least a good, it was at 5 minutes. Small clips, 53, 52, in relation to our
things of that nature, but I would take it back and edit it in a video editing program. Over time, I continued to do that, and then I was able to purchase my first camera, which was a small Nikon, and then I continued to shoot. I tried to shoot as much as possible, just to understand the whole world of videography and cinematography. I even took the initiative to do somewhat of an apprenticeship with a well-known videographer for about a year and a half, doing behind-the-scenes work with just my phone. Videos and photography for the artists, being on set, and I would try to edit those and promo it before the actual music video came out, and it worked. That was the awesome thing. It worked.
Keep us out, baby. Mega Mac Productions, Red Warrior Global, Illy behind the scenes.
And from that point on, I told myself that I will always capture as many moments as I possibly can, whether it be creatively on music videos or even in my own personal life. I will try to capture as much as possible.
CinematicKingEye.
And I took a liking to just
CinematicKingEye.
capturing the moments, capturing things that I felt were unique, or felt were artistic, or just felt needed to be captured.
The birth of Ill Eye behind the scenes started with the A Fresh video shoot. At the time, he was doing Christian hip-hop music, and the shoot locations were at a church and Manny Mac's production studio. At that time, Manny had the red Scarlet camera. I didn't have a camera at all. I was working off my phone taking pics and videos. Now, this wasn't my first time using my phone for videos. I had before back home in Cleveland a few times, but this was my first time with a professional cinematographer. So I didn't really know how they would turn out or be perceived. But for behind the scenes, it would have to do until I could work my way up to a good official camera. Little did I know that phone would help me generate so much content on shoots and getting bookings and my name a little buzzing throughout the Charlotte city as a behind the scenes guy with Manny. CinematicKingEye. I was always grateful to do BTS or behind the scenes work for Manny Mac on music video bookings and even just help and assist with setting up. I knew that I would be able to get a lot of experience and somewhat of an inside look on the local hip hop and urban music scene in Charlotte. Meeting artists and seeing who's making noise in the city and developing motion was important. It also helped me obtain my first bookings for photo shoots and video work. You learn the power of networking and connections when one thing leads to another. For me, it was meeting Manny Mac through an artist named A Fresh. At the time, I was working at a restaurant called Ilios Noche with him, and one day he told me about a shoot he had coming up and that I should come. I thought that was awesome, and I knew I would finally get a chance to start on learning cinematography and videography by someone who was professional. And of
Big one
course,
today.
what I didn't know
What's going
is
on?
this
We're on
would
set.
be
We're up at
the
the
start
Manny
of an
Mac
amazing
Studios,
journey.
getting the second video in with Raw. I'm doing a lot of work this weekend. Make sure you peep us out, baby. Manny Mac Productions, Red Warrior Global, Illy behind the scenes.
CinematicKingEye. This would be the start of an amazing journey. CinematicKingEye. While shooting behind the scenes, I became eager to create more. Meeting aspiring local artists from a different city who in the moment had the drive to go after something they were passionate about. At the time, every behind the scenes wasn't as important as the song of an artist or video, at least on a local level. Most artists were trying to make the most songs and videos. And I understood that because I once had that mindset for myself also. But at this point, being behind the camera, I now understood the purpose of creating as much content as possible. CinematicKingEye. Normally then you'd have photographers and then cinematographers separate. Even today you still do. But I was focused on doing both. Being able to take photos helped me with learning framing. Videos also. But I also gained the knowledge of frames per second, ISO, shutter speed, lighting, angles, and much more. This has a lot to do with why I paused with music and focused on visuals. Every piece of content I captured now felt like making or creating and recording songs.
It's your boy B-Rod, man. We out here shooting a Monsters video. I'm out here with my boy Manny. My name L.I.
Yep. And even if I didn't get to use it as promo for the specific artist's music video, I knew I could one day repurpose it and tell my perspective and story of how I gained experience in cinematography and photography. Cinematic King Eye.